Welcome to the Extraordinary Achievers. We are here today with Paulette Harris-German, known as Lady Paulette. Paulette, what a pleasure it is for me to be sat here today in the driving seat asking the expert question. I feel like I've gone to heaven and back.
Oh, it's lovely to be here, Waynett. It really, really is.
Fantastic. Absolutely feels great. Where do I start? You know, you're put in this position, viewers, that Paulette is into everything. She's an expert and the master of them all. Talk about theatre, movies, music. What else have I missed out?
Radio.
Oh, yes, of course I could. I told you, master of everything. Absolutely. Paulette, tell us about who is Paulette.
Who is Paulette? I think, firstly and foremost, I am my mother's child. I really am my mother's child, and I'm the son my father never had. Which makes me quite an interesting individual.
That's interesting.
It is.
I never saw the male part in you.
You see, and I think a lot of people do. I'm very strong, I'm very determined.
We know that.
And I think sometimes I feel, I don't know whether other people see it, but I feel quite masculine, you know. As you know, I'm a mother to two adult sons.
Absolutely handsome, two young men.
Very dashing, if I say so myself. You know, and having raised them predominantly by myself, you know, you find that you've got to take on the role of the male and the female.
That's right.
And you're kind of doing this upping and downing thing in emotions, in well-being. And
right.
I've learned a lot about myself through my sons. And they inform my work, how I go into my work, how I go about my work.
Yes.
And so I think that's where that masculinity has come from. But like I said, I was the son that my father never had. My father was a plasterer. And so I'd be out there mixing cement and stuff and trying to learn the trade and all of that, because he had no one to pass it on to, which actually came in very handy when I lost my job once, because I ended up labouring on a building site. So,
your own work, man. Fantastic. You're so amazing because you're always bubbly. You've got so much energy. You've got enough energy to light up this whole entire universe.
I think that's why we connect so much, because you are so the same.
Thank you. For me, you're like a role model.
Oh, wow.
Because the way that you carry yourself, the way that you talk to others, the passion you have in life, and most importantly, the fact that you don't take any nonsense. You're kind of, I'm focused and this is what I'm doing. Play very little and get the balance right.
Yeah, there's an element, but I've learned that though. I've learned that. I think it's not great necessarily to have regrets. However, sitting where I am now, I look back and I feel like I've wasted a lot of time.
Really?
I do, purely because when you're kind of finding yourself, you know, you're here, you're there, you just want to kind of latch onto this and latch onto that, because necessarily it might be the flavour of the month, or you want to be in the group, you know, you want to be a part of a particular dynamic that's happening at that particular time, but that's not necessarily feeding into what you need to be doing in order to further yourself or to further your career. And I think that's why my career has been so eclectic, which actually is serving me well now. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but is it because, I would ask the question, is it because you're so well balancedly experienced that opportunities are always opening up for you in the different angles that you do see, and you'd like to explore each one of them?
Wow, that's a good question. I think I'm a bit of a chancer to a degree. I've been told that I was an opportunist, and I took great offence to that. Not that I really knew what the term meant at the time. This was probably about 20 or so years ago I was told this. And I think to a degree there's an element of truth in that, positively or negatively, but I've always followed my heart. I've always been a bit of a loner, and so if something catches my eye and I think, oh, that's interesting, I'll be off and I'll be exploring and I'll do it. I remember when I was quite young, Capital Radio, which was my radio of choice as a child and still is even now as an adult, came to my locality where I lived in Wembley at the time. And I went, they did a live outdoor broadcast. I was 10 years old. I went by myself. And like, I remember being really disappointed because, you know, you have the radio voice, and so you create this image of what this DJ is supposed to look like.
Right.
And I turned up, there was a 10-year-old thinking, oh, it's going to be so cute. What did I know about cute at 10? And he was short and bald and no, he wasn't the one. But I've always been that way. And myself and my younger sister, we were really blessed. Our mother worked for the rail industry. So we had travel cards, free travel cards as children. And it's funny, I was discussing with some of my friends, with the original latchkey children. And so we were kind of left to our own devices, really. So mum would get up and go to work, and daddy would get up and go to work. And it was just me and my little sis. And we'd say, right, so where are we going today? And we would take the train, one stop and come out and explore. Just like 11, 12 years old, you pay your little 2 pence on the bus.
It was safe then as well to be able to do that.
Do you know, it was safer, because I did have an encounter when I was 9 years old that not a lot of people know about. But I've always been quite, what's the word, Waynett? Insightful. I have insight, I perception, and I just remembered coming back from Girls Brigade when I was about 9 years old by myself, and you know it gets dark earlier in the winter, and it was winter, and I just remember this man pulling over and reaching across, and my spirit said, run. And I ran like, you know, a bat out of hell. And so it was safe, but I think you got to be a little bit wise. You got to have your street wise, and I've been wise from very young. I had my first job at the age of 12.
Wow!
I know. So I've been around there. By the time I left school and got my first real job after school, I had already had 5 years work experience under my belt.
Hence, you're so experienced.
True. But my mum's a grafter. My mum worked really hard, 2-3 jobs. She was a visionary, you know, and I learned a lot. As you know, my mum passed in 2012.
But she was a great pillar in your life.
Oh my
the greatest pillar ever
totally
on this earth.
But really, it wasn't until after she passed that I really got to see who my mum was. Because, you know, our parents, it's like, they're private. They don't tell you everything. Or anything. And my mum really was very, very famed for speaking in parables, and you had to kind of decipher. She had one saying, pick the sense from the nonsense.
That's right.
I'm like, you know, so it's like, that's kind of how I was raised. But those parables are the ones that kind of keep me in good stead now. And it's really interesting because I've taught them to my son, as my mother did. And it's really worrying when your sons then use them back on you as a reprimand. I'm like,
I have my favourite saying of your mum. When I'm over caring about something, and you always say to me, what do you say my mum said about the doctor?
Oh yes, Mummy has a wonderful saying. If the sick man don't care, the doctor not go care. And for those who don't understand Jamaican patois, if the sick person doesn't care, the doctor's not going to care. So you have to take responsibility
of your own self.
Absolutely
love that. And tell us about the theatre, your time in the theatre.
Oh my gosh, theatre. I've been in and around the entertainment industry for that long. And
just yesterday, really.
decades. But you know how it is, you raise your children, you take time out and so forth. Right. But I had my first audition when I was 10. I did my first actual play when I was 16 years old. I then went on to study theatre. I did work with, you know, people like Wayne Rollins, Mystery, Tipper Irie, Angie Greaves. We did so many different productions. I did Waiting to Inhale with Jeff Schumann, Inia Benjamin, again Wayne Rollins. No, Wayne Rollins wasn't in it, but it was written by Andrew Morell. And from there, I then landed a commercial for British Airways and was flown out to Spain, and I really got the bug, and I thought to myself, do you know what, Paulette, if you're going to do this, do it properly. And so I had been made redundant from my job, and so I was doing temporary work, filling in until I got a proper job. And it was during that period of time that I secured the commercial. So I was actually free to just let it all go and went and studied. So I did Access to Theatre Studies at the College of North West London, and where I came as a student of the year.
Oh, of course.
Lady
Paulette style.
It was interesting because, of course, I was a mature student. I went to college, my youngest was 5, my eldest was 15-ish, and I had a foster daughter at the same time as well, who was 16. So it was really interesting in my house, lots of estrogen and testosterone going on. But yes, I studied Access to Theatre Studies, applied to 6 universities, got all 6 places, was hoping to go and study in Manchester along with my best friend, Charmaine. And then my mum announced that she was moving back to Jamaica, and I went, so who's going to look after my children? So that put paid to that. So I ended up going to Middlesex University, which was an interesting experience, which we'll talk about another time.
Of course, yeah.
But yes, graduated. From there, I did a performing arts degree with a drama bias. And so we did dance, movement, poetry, stand-up comedy, writing, directing, lighting. So it gave you a really rounded grounding.
Not that you needed to be grounded, you're already grounded.
Yeah, but in the industry.
Industry.
From, technical language and all of that kind of stuff, how to write, how to produce and so forth. And so that was kind of my theatre. But whilst I was doing that, I was very lucky to land a chorus part, so to speak, in Amen Corner.
Wow.
Directed by Anton Phillips and was on at the theatre, it wasn't theatre or Stratford East, it was at the Tricycle.
Yes.
And then we went on tour, and that was with the likes of the wonderful Corinne Skinner-Carter, who some of our audience members will remember was in EastEnders.
That's right.
Ellen Thomas, the magnificent Ellen Thomas, and Rachel, who was in Ain't Misbehaving.
That's right.
Was also in Starlight Express. And I think it was in Cats as well, so I was in really good company whilst I was still studying.
Wow.
So I was really, really blessed to have, and they really looked after me. And at the same time, my youngest, Karim, was also doing drama at the Tricycle as well, so we'd be trundling off together. And so,
mother and daughter off to
mother and son, off to
Absolutely.
study theatre together.
Yeah.
So both my boys have been quite nurtured in the arts industry as well. And what I found as a single mum, you have to take your children with you.
That's right.
Of course, my first big play was Black Heroes in the Hall of Fame. I was in the original cast, along with the likes of Verna Francis, Lloyd Brown, who went on to be Lloyd Brown, who the reggae singer who wasn't Lloyd Brown at the time, as we know him.
Yeah.
Gosh, who else was there? There was so many people. There was the Black Stones, Julie Payne, Ingrid Webster. There were so many people.
Yeah.
So that was my theatre. And then, of course, now I'm doing film.
That's right.
So exciting.
Absolutely. So tell us about the life behind the screen.
Behind and in front. It's funny, I did background during my studying, or just before my studying. I was in Bridget Jones's Diary, and it was on at the weekend.
Oh yes, I saw the little clip someone
My
put
friend,
on Facebook of you.
Paulette, I'm like, it's me. So so it's now led me to where now I'm working in front and behind the camera. I'm an associate producer. I've worked as a first AD. I've worked with Julius Amadume. Currently working with Menelik Shabazz. Worked with him on The Story of Lovers Rock, the documentary, award-winning, top 5 in this country at its peak back in 2012. And we're now currently working on our new feature documentary called Looking for Love, which explores love relationships within the Black community, ages 18 to 55, why they work, why they don't work, what baggage are we bringing into it. It's got movement, it's got comedy, it's got Kojo's in it, Eddie Caddy's in it, Andy Osho's in it, Donna Spence is in it. I'm not going to give away too much. It's going to be a beautiful piece, but as you know, we've shot all the footage, but we're crowdfunding, we're raising money at the moment to complete it, but we have started the editing process. So I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, because that's coming out in spring. We look forward to that coming out in spring
this year. So we need people to kind of just shell out a little few pennies. We know that the festive season kind of cramped everybody's style a little bit, but I think now we're coming out of that. There's a little few, but I mean, we wanted to raise £19,000. That is to complete the editing process, marketing, post-production, to deal with distribution and so forth. So we're looking for distributors. It's a wonderful, wonderful piece. Got talking heads, lay people and all sorts. Psychologists are giving their view and opinions on it also.
Fantastic. And what are the benefits do we see as others outside in terms of being part of the crowdfunding?
What benefits? Oh, well, the actual crowdfunding aspect of it wound up last weekend.
Okay.
So we're toying with the idea of doing another crowdfunding campaign. There were rewards, amazing rewards, like Dinner with Menelik Shabazz, who, as you know, is one of our leading black filmmakers in this country with over 33 years of filmmaking experience. There were tickets to the premiere. There were lots of different things, but those are kind of on hold at the moment because that campaign's come to an end.
Sure.
So we're going to regroup and see what else there is. But there are investment opportunities.
Okay.
So if somebody wanted to invest in the film, a minimum investment of £1,000, they will get a return on that, subject to how much they've invested and what terms and conditions they agree to.
Okay.
So if anybody wants to find out about the investing opportunities, they can go to Menelek's website, which is www.menelekshabazz.com. The crowdfunding trailer is on YouTube, so you can see that. We've also got a Storyfy, but they can contact us and ask us for the investment documents, so they can have a see what we're proposing.
Okay.
But there's also sponsorship possibilities as well.
Fantastic.
So if you're an organisation that is out there that would like to get your brand better seen, we're able to put that on the website and so forth. And you could pay maybe as little as, I don't know, £500 to get global exposure. Because as you know, I'm off to Los Angeles again.
Oh yes, you are. Please tell us about Los Angeles.
It's Pan-African Film Festival time again.
Yeah.
It's in its 23rd year, and I will be there, and I will be doing the for the Extraordinary Achievers.
That's right.
I'll also be doing the for Feeling Fab for Angie Greaves, and I'll be doing the for mevillage.com myself.
That's
I'm
right.
going to be a busy girl.
You're going to be a very busy girl.
I'm going to be a busy girl.
All time to work, very little play.
Do you know what? I see it as play though, because I really enjoy it. I come to life. I see another side of myself that when I'm not doing it, I'm not as fulfilled. Yeah.
Because you're doing something that you love.
I absolutely am.
I love that saying that says that once you are now doing something that you love to do and you're passionate about, you never have to work another day again in your life.
Apparently, and I'm telling you, I'm playing hard. And I'm really looking forward to seeing my friends out in LA. I've been doing this since 2003, so it's all good.
Fantastic. And what advice would you like to leave our viewers about how to live life? What would be the advice you'd like to share with others?
The advice I would like to share? Virgin has an advert and it says, life gets exciting when you say yes. Take advantage of your opportunities. Volunteer. 89% of what I know is I've gained through voluntary work. Be open, be insightful, and be receptive. And everything that you do, good or bad, if you've got to convey information, do it from your heart, do it with love. And that's how it will be received. And be the change you want to see, Mahatma Gandhi.
Fantastic. Just one more thing, which is that you were nominated for an award.
I was nominated and shortlisted a little while ago, but I am very proud of it.
Yeah.
It was the UK government's Child Poverty Awards, and I was nominated and shortlisted as an inspirational parent because of the work I was doing in the community with single parents.
So what advice would you give to mothers out there?
Do you know what? Everything you learn, teach your children. Take them on the journey with you. When I was doing Black Heroes in 1987, my 32-year-old son was 3 years old at the time, and he was on stage with me. A lady, one of the singers from Odyssey, said to me I was doing the right thing. Take them everywhere, teach them, and they grow with you.
Thank you, Paulette. Thank you for being here with us today.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Waynett.
Thank you to all our viewers. Upwards and onwards. United together, we shall soar to greater heights than that known by mankind. There is no victory without any story. Testimonials are our way to inspire and encourage others. The infinite power, the master of the universe, our creator is God, and through him all things are possible. Thank you for watching today. Please do share this video with others. We need to make the sound of positivity viral. And for more information, please contact us on our Facebook page, Extraordinary Achievers, or on www.theextraordinaryachievers.com. Please text to 07962 397 453. Thank you for watching.